Hey folks, thanks for checking out a video on G4G. I'm Napalm Dawn as always. So, I recorded this video yesterday and now I have to redo it because of Cyberpunk. A funny thing was, a core component of me doing the video yesterday was in regards to the Final Fantasy VII restaging date when they moved it to be within 6 days of Cyberpunk, and now Cyberpunk is like, yeah, you know what, you guys have that, that's okay, you guys have April, we're going to September. Oh, by the way, guess what's in September? Your Marvel's Avengers. Now, I'm not saying CD Projekt Red is trying to tangle with Sony in any way, shape, or possible, because if CD Projekt Red was threatened in any way, shape, or form by Final Fantasy VII moving into the April slot over there, I don't really think Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red were going to have too much to fear over there. I mean, they're both RPGs, but they're going to be ridiculously different. Now, if Outer Worlds and Cyberpunk was coming out at around the same time, or Destiny 3 or Borderlands, or you know, some piece of shit being produced by Bethesda, if they weren't actually a piece of shit, maybe then you'd have something. But this is, you know, a modern RPG going up against a traditional RPG, and I don't think CD Projekt Red had anything to fear. But so let's get on with the news, and the new news with GNU News is Gary GNU. No GNUs is good GNUs. Okay, so Cyberpunk, which was originally going to be April, has now moved up to September 17th. So that means this sort of front half of the year in 2020 being a little top heavy is spreading out a little bit. So Cyberpunk is moving to September, and the multiplayer part of Cyberpunk, which they were developing, is now moving to 2021. So this is a sad shuffle, because I'm sure we would all like to get our hands on Cyberpunk sooner rather than later. But if they feel it needs more polish, you know what? Let them. This is CD Projekt Red. This is CD Projekt Red, who did Witcher 3, which is enjoying its biggest spike in usership since it came out, thanks to the Netflix series, which is amazingly good. Girlfriend and I watched it together, and it's got something for everybody in it. It's got half-naked Henry Cavill just grunting and saying the word fuck a lot. It's got a lot of demon tits. It's got action. It has a bard, and the new took an arrow to the knee fantasy meme with toss a coin to your Witcher. It is a really good series on Netflix, so definitely check it out. And if CD Projekt Red says they need to move it back, you know what, let them, because the front half of the year was starting to look really heavy, because originally you would have had Doom, you would have had Cyberpunk, you would have had Final Fantasy VII, you would have had Sony's Marvel Abdongers. More on that one in a moment. So things are, you know, shuffling around nicely. What I would like to see is more middle of the summer releases over here. We're getting a couple Septembers, and we're getting a bunch of springs, but I'm not really seeing like June and July come in there. Even August, it's like it's the spring, and then everybody's going on vacation for the summer, and then coming back in September like, all right guys, school's back in session, let's go, let's do some games, come on, let's get this crap out. So yeah, there's Cyberpunk moving. One of the next things we need to talk about is the fact that, according to MMORPG.com, quoting a site called well, I'll say Alt-Char, but it's Alt-Character. According to Alt-Character, it doesn't look like Lost Ark is going to come to the West in 2020. Maybe never really could be the thing. By the way, I just want to point out that these Black Desert ads over here were the same as yesterday. And this kind of I know it says Guardian, but this kind of looks like a barbarian chick in the snow with a bear pelt. And there's some side boob action on both of these, and there's some side ass action over here. So I want to kind of point out this person is probably very, very cold. Attractive ladies, but they look very, very cold. Good job, Black Desert. You really know how to appeal to an audience. So they're saying, at least according to alt character, localization is a big issue. And by that, it means translating the Korean language that the game is in to American in a way, or to American English in a way that does not sound like it's English. And if you want to see English, just go play the most recent Bleach mobile game, which I have uninstalled because it just was too bad. It's not the only reason why I got rid of it, but it was definitely a big one, because the idiosyncrasies of the language don't come through properly. It's sort of like calling a phone call perfect, or when you see a lot of European bloc people who learn, English as a second language, they misuse the word search a lot. They use search in ways that we don't quite use in American English. So one of the issues was that in the Korean version, it's getting called pay to progress because people are hitting the end game and there's nothing to do. And that turns it into being very grindy, and a lot of Asian-related games know that the West audience does not like excessive grinds. And I say that as I embark upon my World of Warcraft 8.3 patch journey. And, the first night it took about a total of 3 or 4 hours to get everything done. But it's a different kind of grind. This person pointed out that you can play on the Russian servers for free with a VPN and an English translation patch. That's one of the ways of going it. And as Valentina points out, it was going to release into a crowded sphere of Diablo 4, Path of Exile 2, Torchlight, she means Torchlight Frontiers, Vulcan, Corepunk. I don't know. I think despite the hype a lot of people had for Lost Ark, it's probably going to fall on its face. I think it's going to outstay the hype, and the hype will dwindle, and this being an irrelevant game will increase. Right now, maybe 80-20 hype over being irrelevant. It's going to drop pretty quick. I would say within about 3 or 4 months, it's going to be 70-30. And once it gets 50-50, I don't think any company would want to release a game on that. So one of the other things that I didn't talk about in the first video that I want to mention here is that a company called Second Dinner, an indie dev house created by one Ben Brodie of Hearthstone fame, they are working on a Marvel game. Now, people thought maybe it would be a Marvel card game, and then threw that thought to the side because, we had Marvel Battle Lines. They're not going to do a second Marvel card game. Well, you could have, because you could have gone very traditional and not have that whole Connect 4 tic-tac-toe aspect of it. And now Marvel Battle Lines is dead. So it leaves the pathway to be a little bit more breathing room to actually generate a Marvel card game. Now, I think it would be cool if somebody did a Magic the Gathering style Marvel game where you had characters and then you had alternate outfits of the characters also count as a card. So maybe Iron Man and then maybe Star Boost Iron Man, Groot, Baby Groot, King Groot. They could all be separate cards. I mean, the amount of cards that you can generate just on units alone for a Marvel card game would be amazing. And then maybe you could take well-known weapons and gear within the Marvel universe and make it like attachments, the way Magic the Gathering teaches, like, or considers like artifacts or enchantments on the field. You know, like attach a missile pod, like an Iron Man style shoulder missile pod, to any of your tech characters. Makes sense. And if you had it broken down by you know, a class type, it makes things somewhat logical. Like, you're not going to equip a missile pod on the Hulk, who is naked except for ripped jeans. That wouldn't make sense. So only a tech character could do it, like Rocket Raccoon or Iron Man or War Machine, you know, something like that. That could be an interesting mechanic to the game. I think we don't know much about what they're working on. There was information in the beginning of the year, and then it just kind of went dry. So as you can see here, 2018, 2019, there's not much else going on. January 3rd, 2019, that's a year old. So we don't know what they're working on, but could be interesting. So one of the other things that we need to talk about is the fact that Marvel's Abdongers, with Blork Widow, Steve Rogers, aka Tactical Dad Bod, Deuce Banner, Ton't Stant, and Hubcaps, these guys got pushed off. This was in the news yesterday, that right here, these guys, along with New Edition Kamala Khan, they are getting pushed to September. So that little quip that I made in the beginning of the video, when Final Fantasy VII was sliding on up to being within 6 days of Cyberpunk's initial release, now here we go with Cyberpunk getting pushed off to be September, along with Sony's Marvel Abdongers. So it was going to be May 15th, which was super close to my birthday. Could have made an interesting gift. It is now going to be way off in September. Now they state that they were trying to give the game more polish and everything like that. So a lot of people were sort of jumping on them a bit and saying, oh, you know, it's because they need more time to shave some of the blockiness off of Black Widow's chin. Well, they've already worked on that. A lot of the characters, the way that they were represented in the E3 presentation, have gotten better. Black Widow doesn't quite look like White Chicks movie anymore, or Duke Nukem, or I mean, I don't know what you could say that is. If I remember correctly, Laura Bailey is the voice of Black Widow, and if I was somebody as well trafficked as Laura Bailey, somebody as popular and well known as Laura Bailey, who I think was at her peak when she did Lust in Full Metal Alchemist, if I was Laura Bailey, I'd be like, look, I don't know what you guys want to do. I don't want to be the voice of this jawed Mount Rushmore of a character here. Can we do something about this? Can we soften this a little bit? I do believe, I think this may be one of the okay, yeah. So as you can see here, it is getting a little bit softer over here and a little less Wayne's Brothers White Chicks looking. I mean, looking at the rest of them, Steve Rogers, if I was just to see this picture, okay, somebody slid this across a desk at me on paper, I would be like, okay, what is this? Okay, that's probably Black Widow. You know, that's the bracers or the wrist guns over there, black suit, red hair. Okay, that's probably Black Widow, but is this a different Iron Man? And especially if I saw that mask, which I hate. Thor, I would be like, is this the Kurgan from Highlander cosplaying as Thor after he's been asleep in the woods for a couple of years, like the Unabomber? And what's with the hubcaps? I wouldn't know who this guy is. I really would not know that that is supposed to be Bruce Banner. Now, that being said, I will say that Hulk looks the best. Like, I rarely ever give Hulk a joke name when I talk about these guys, unlike Blork Widow, Tote-Stant, Speeve, aka Tactical Dad Bod, and Hubcaps. I mean, this armor looks rubber with, like, I know in my brain, if I were to touch that armor, I know exactly what it would feel like. I don't know that I could describe it, but I feel like it would be plasticky rubber and a dinner plate. Like, it would be like touching a steel dinner plate, or, you know, camping steel that you bring camping with you, that is meant not to be the best quality of everything. And I thought for a second I saw a new Thor. Like, Thor is getting better, Black Widow's getting better. This is a better Thor here in this picture. And again, Hulk I don't have an issue with, and Kamala Khan was pretty solid, but without the helmet, I mean, this is, yeah, I hate that outfit on him. And then Final Fantasy VII got moved to April. It was originally going to be within about 6 days of Cyberpunk. Now it is not, because Cyberpunk has vacated the spring. So one of the things that I am looking forward to that wasn't mentioned in the other recent video that I did is Marvel's Realm of Champions, which is Kabam. Now, I'm interested, but I'm also very cautious, because to me, Kabam is a greedy giant piece of shit. Marvel's Contest of Champions is the single greediest Marvel game that I have ever played. And I play Marvel Strike Force by Fox Next. So, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, I used to put like Marvel Avengers Alliance and Marvel Heroes kind of low on the list, and then somewhat low, but it was getting worse, was Marvel Future Fight from Netmarble, and then Contest of Champions I always put at the absolute top. So that concerns me, but this is going to be a real, this is going to be an RPG from Realm of Champions over here, and this clickable, this Patriot Garrison, kind of gives you some idea of what the game is. So what is Realm of Champions? It's a separate universe from COC. So M-Rock is a real-time multiplayer action-adventure RPG for longtime Marvel fans and passionate gamers. It'll coexist with MCOC, but it's a separate game with highly customizable champions, alternate reality versions of classic Marvel characters, and it's meant for a different kind of game experience. So there's going to be factions like Temple of Vishanti, over here the Doctor Strange group, Kingdom of Wakanda, House of Iron, Spider Guild, Asgardian Republic, Gamma Horde, Pyramid X, and the Patriot Garrison. Will there be more? Supposedly yes. 15 houses are designed, and about 50 in a list of possible houses in the future. It remains to be seen what they're going to do. This map makes it look like Axis and Allies or Shogun. I'm glad I'm redoing this video because I own Shogun and I couldn't remember the name of it yesterday. I was like, Samurai something or other? No, it was Shogun. Maybe it'll be a tactical board, like you join an alliance that is within the house that you pick and you fight for areas of the map, and maybe it'll be like an expansion kind of thing where if you, or Defender of the Crown on the Commodore 64, there's another one, where say you are this necropolis looking temple over here, and you're encroaching on President Peggy Carter's territories, and you take this one over. So maybe you put a good amount of forces over here, because this is now your forward line, and these guys over here, you don't have a front back here, so why defend it? You move them up. Maybe it'll be something like that, like heavily tactical with active combats or action combats when you're in the front. It looks like a Winter Soldier vault with Asgardians, maybe Loki and the Asgardians. There's a, you know, a web one. There's holographic Tony Stark. So it remains to be seen what this game is going to be like. I'm scared of the monetization of it. I think MCOC celebrates your duplicates way too much. You get nothing for your money in that game. I mean, you spend $5 and they barely toss a coin to your Witcher for that. I don't think you get anything for your money in that game, and then your risk of duplicates is so high that I think MCOC is just a giant disappointment. So MROC scares me, but I want to play it. So, and then Marvel Strike Force has got some stuff coming up with the Inhumans making their appearance. Cyclops has supposedly been kitted out. Crystal's been kitted out. So Marvel Strike Force is getting some updates too. So, yep, this is just a quick little update I wanted to do to my looking forward to 2020 video that I produced somewhat recently. It's the second time I had to do this video, like I mentioned in the beginning, because of the big Cyberpunk change. So I felt like I wanted to redo this video over here and include that, because that's major news. And Travis Willingham is the actor. Yeah. See, Black Widow is Laura Bailey. Iron Man is Nolan North. I mean, they have fairly high named voice actors to this, and I really hope Laura Bailey, you know, maybe threw something out there like, I really don't want to be the voice of female Mount Rushmore over here. But September 4th now for Marvel's Abdongers, and as I've said in any video where I talk about it, pre-ordering it to me is scary, because I don't know if it'll be a waste of money, especially if it's a full price $60 game. But by the same token, if I can get into the beta by purchasing it and produce videos on it and keep you, my viewers, informed, and maybe you can make good monetary decisions based on what you see, then it'll probably be worth it. So we'll find out. Thanks for checking out the video, everybody. Take care, and hopefully the next video will be on a new beta for Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux. It may not be. It may be a Marvel Strike Force video concerning the new characters that are popping up. So take care, everybody. Have a good one.